Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Political Ray. Um, we've got some news. We got some State of the Union or address to Congress, however you want to say it. Apparently, it wasn't a State of the Union; it was an address to Congress, a joint session of Congress. Anyway, there was a lot that was said. President Trump, I liked what he had to say. A lot of people didn't. Um, I like the fact that he called out the left on their BS. I like the fact that he acknowledged a lot of people that have been hurt over the last 4 years due to Democratic policies. I like the fact that he is pointing out things that he's trying to do to make the country a better place, to be trying to bring America back to the greatness that it should be. And I like the fact that I mean, I love the fact that he's calling out the Democrats on their BS. That's one of my favorite things that I took away from last night. The other thing is, and also noticed that the Democrats that were there in attendance, uh, half of them walked out before it was over, and whatever. If that's what they want to do, that's fine. I don't care. I don't care what they do. They're not in position of power anymore. Now they can. We don't have enough of the Senate and the House as I would like, but they're not in a position of power anymore. They can't do what they want willy nilly, and I'm okay with that. That's what we wanted. We want. I'm okay with checks and balances. I'm not okay with things like not passing a bill to keep men out of women's sports. I'm not okay with that, and I covered that yesterday. But anyway, we're gonna go over this his address to the joint session of Congress, and because that's the news right now. So we're gonna go through this just real quick, and it's gonna be kind of quick. I'm gonna gloss over a lot of stuff because I put this together this morning. I still got to go get my butt to work. So we're gonna check this out though. I'm gonna highlight some of the stuff that I thought was important, and we'll just go ahead and get into this here. So first off, I want to point out the fact that a lot of the women, I say women because there's one man in this photo. Anyway, they were wearing pink to support women because apparently Trump doesn't support women. This is their talking point. Trump doesn't support women when he actually does. He's trying to protect them in their sports. I mean, look at the bill that was just put forth. He signed the executive order saying that men cannot compete in women's sports, and if they do, if they go against this, that they're going to lose their federal funding, with it be schools, colleges, what have you. And I don't understand how these people can be. They say they stand up for women's rights, but I don't understand how they could vote against. Now, I said yesterday that vote needed 60 to pass without the filibuster, and every single Democrat voted against this bill to keep men out of women's sports. How are you protecting women? Tell me how. I said again yesterday. I said the volleyball player that was got partially, paralyzed because a male athlete was playing with the females and spiked the ball into her face so hard that she was partially paralyzed from it and suffered brain damage. How are they okay with this? A basketball player, there was a high school basketball team that ended up having to forfeit because the opposing team had a male player on their team and ended up injuring three players, and then they didn't have enough to keep playing, so they ended up having to forfeit the game. How is this okay? I do not believe that they want women's there. I don't think that they're standing up for women. They don't care about women. They don't care about women's rights. All these women who fought for so long to have equal rights, have, protections within sports and everything else, it's a spit in their face for these women to come out here and say, "Oh, we stand with women. We're for women," and blah blah blah. But yet you vote against a bill that would protect women in sports. Make it make sense to me, because it doesn't. Anyway, um, we'll move on to we're just gonna get to his opening statement in his joint session address to Congress. State of the Union. I mean, it's a State of the Union. I don't care what you call it. It's a State of the Union address. But anyway, Check this out. This is his opening statements, and we'll get into this.
The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again. There's never been anything like it. The presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of
312. All the swing states. I'm not going to I don't want to, toot my own horn here, but I said back during the campaign, right before the election took place, I said on here, I said, I think he's going to take all the swing states. And he did. Just saying.
312 votes.
And people can say, look, this is not a mandate, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it is. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. When the president, especially a Republican president, takes the popular vote, takes all swing states, and gains, I don't even know the percentage, but he gained a lot of ground. Okay, he took major big, ground made with the black vote, with the Hispanic vote, all of it. He made up ground in all these different, voting blocks. And I think that it is a mandate. When you take the popular vote as a Republican candidate, that's a mandate. When you take all 7 swing states, that's a mandate. I don't care how slim the popular vote was. The fact remains that he did take the popular vote, and that's how they can't come out and say that he didn't actually win. That's why they're not saying, the only reason why they're not coming out and saying that the Electoral College needs to be abolished is because he actually did win the popular vote as well. And even in my opinion, I don't think that if they got rid of the Electoral College, I don't think it would help them. It's just my opinion. I think the Electoral College is a good thing, but I don't think it would help them, because if the Electoral College was to go away, I think you would see a vast, big numbers coming out as far as voting for Republicans. The Republican popular vote would vastly improve if they took away the Electoral College. That's just my opinion. We don't know that for sure, because the Electoral College is still a thing, and I think it's a good thing. But I still stand by the fact that I think that it wouldn't help them. I think that Republicans would come out in droves if the Electoral College was abolished. But that's just my opinion, like I said. Anyway, talk about Al Green here. Al Green was a bit disruptive, and both sides are, talking about this. Brian Krasenstein actually came out and said that, look, and I understand, I get it, because there has been disruptions from the Republican side during Democratic rule, and I can understand both sides of the argument. And I can tell you right now that the disruptions when a Democratic leader was talking, those people should have been removed too. I'll say it right now. They should have been removed from the House, and just, they can go do their thing. But I think this was just, he got up and interrupted, was disrespectful, and he wanted to get thrown out. That you can argue with me if you want to, but that's my opinion. I think he wanted to get thrown out so that he can have his 15 seconds of fame, because not a lot of people know who this guy is. When he first took office back in January, President Trump, this guy came out and said that he's going to be filing articles of impeachment against him, even though he'd only been in the office for like a week. I forget exactly how long it had been, but I did a video on it, touched on it just briefly, because this guy's done it before and it didn't go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere this time. This guy is known. The only thing he's known for is putting forth impeachment articles against President Trump. That's the only thing he's known for. This is just him trying to get his another 15 seconds of fame. That's all this is. But anyway, we're gonna take a look at it. You can let me know. I think he was just grandstanding. He wants his 15 seconds of fame, because nobody knows who this guy is otherwise. So check it out.
Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded.
Mr. President.
A 41-point jump.
There he is down there, standing up.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning.
Look, and a lot of people are saying, look, well, why do you throw him? Well, he gave him a warning. Again, I'll say it one more time. The disruptions that happened on the Republican side previously during Democratic administrations should have happened the same way. Give them a warning if they don't calm down. Now, I haven't actually looked at the clips. I've seen one clip that Brian put out, and I didn't see any kind of warning or anything. But look, give him a warning, which he did. If he doesn't take his seat and be cordial, then remove him. But again, this is just him grandstanding. I think he just wants his 15 seconds of fame, because he went out of the chambers and went directly to the press and talked to them. It's his 15 seconds of fame, because nobody knows who this guy is otherwise. I'm telling you, this is all it is.
Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
Look, they were prepared for this. Speaker Johnson, there was all kinds of talk about the Democrats, coming out and disrupting and doing all kinds of crazy different stuff during his speech. So it's not like, they just set themselves up for failure. They were prepared for this, because the Democrats actively came out and said that they were going to do it. So, other than this, there was no other disruptions, as it were. But like I said, Speaker Johnson was prepared for this because the Democrats came out and said that they were going to do it. So he gave him a warning. He didn't adhere to the warning, so they tossed his butt out. I don't see the problem with it.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir.
It's another warning.
Take your seat.
It's another warning.
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
There you go. 3 times. Three different times that Speaker Johnson said, look, at first he said, this is your warning. Okay, he should have only got one. Told him 2 other times after that to take his seat. In my opinion, that's 2 other warnings. Take your seat. Take your seat. He didn't do it. All he had to do was sit down. And a lot of people, Trump is all for free speech, but he throws out, yes, if you want to talk about something, yes, you can do it after it. This is a place where the president is giving a speech, and if you can't be respectful, and again, I'll say it again, when President Trump, President Obama, whoever it may be, Republican, Democrat, show some respect. Let the president give his speech. If you don't like what he says, you can come out afterwards and talk to the press, as every one of the Democrats did. You don't need to interrupt him and be disrespectful. And I say it one more time. I'll say it one more time. If it was the Republicans doing it, toss their butts out too. I'm fine with it. I don't care who it is, either side. If they're not going to be respectful, they can leave. That's it. That's all there is to it. Anyway. So he goes on, he starts talking about the border, and this was pretty good in my opinion. Look, the border has been a hot mess ever since Biden came into office and was just letting anybody come in willy-nilly. And we've had all kinds of issues with it. And this is something that both Democrats and Republicans should be on the same side about, but they're not. The Democrats, look, the only time that the Democrats actually applauded anything is when he was talking about Ukraine, because they want that war to keep going because it funnels money through all kinds of crazy different places. And in a lot of cases, now this is just speculation, but a lot of the time I'm fairly certain it just comes back to their own pockets, because we've just dedicated $350 billion to Ukraine. He says he's only received 77 billion of it. So where's the rest of it? I know a lot of that is arms and munitions and weapons, that type of stuff. I understand that, but I can't imagine all of it is. There's a lot of cash that's just missing. Anyway, Zelensky came out himself and he said that, the cash that he was supposed to receive was 177 billion, but he's only received 77 billion. So where's the other 100 billion? Not exactly 100% unsure on those numbers, but you can check it out for yourself. Where's the rest of that money? It's a lot of money. Anyway, talking about the border here, and we'll get into this.
Within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done.
They have.
As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever.
He's not wrong. Okay, look, I'm going to show you this. And this is just a chart. And this is from Newsweek, okay? So you got to check this out. This is the border crossings. Get rid of that. This is the border crossings. Look, from when President Biden took over, 21. This is port of entries, okay? This is only the ones we know about, okay? Just the ones we know about, okay? 97, 159,000, 130,000, 140,000. February. This is when Trump came in. 8,326. That's a big drop. Why? Because he's the president and he can actually take action. Now, a lot of the Democrats say, "Oh, he wanted to run on a problem because we could have passed legislation." No. All you needed was a strong leader to say the border's closed. No more. Done. And he proves it right here, because this is a mic drop moment for President Trump, and I'm here for it, because this is all it took. The Democrats can talk all they want about passing legislation to help close the border up, but all you needed was a strong leader. This is what he said about it, and I'm here for it. Check it out.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
That's it. That's all you needed. Look, all you need is a strong leader. President Biden was not that. He was incoherent. He was not a strong leader. His foreign policies and his border policies wrecked the United States, okay? And that's all there is to it. You can argue all you want, but the numbers speak for themselves. Look at the number of the border crossings. It speaks for itself. Now with President Trump in there, look at I just showed you the chart. It's a huge drop. And, he deserves the credit because, like he said, all you needed was a new president. That's it. You didn't need legislation, blah, blah, blah. You didn't need to pass bills that were packed full of all kinds of other crap. Sending money to foreign states and everything else. But we're going to call it a border bill. I've covered that in length before. It was not a border bill. It was really just a foreign funding bill. When you have more money going to foreign aid versus the border, it's not a border bill. I've covered that in length before. I'm not going to get into it again. But anyway, Um, I mean, after this, he got into DEI, the CRT, getting that out of schools. Um, his executive order, stating there was just two genders. He talked more about the border, and he talked about his executive order keeping men out of women's sports. Which again, if the Democrats really cared about women and they stand for women's rights, then they would have passed this bill. But not a single Democrat voted yay on this bill keeping men out of women's sports. They don't care about women. They don't care about you. They want to grandstand and have their 15 seconds of fame. I mean, Jasmine Crock is really good at it too. So, um, talking about that, we'll show. I'm going to show you this little clip. This is him talking about. This is the volleyball player Peyton. I forget her last name, and I apologize for that. But this is the volleyball player that was playing against a biological man and had the ball spiked into her face and was partially paralyzed and suffered a bit of brain damage because of it. And then the Democrats want to come out and say that, oh, there's no problem with men competing against women. BS. Look at three basketball players injured, and then they had to forfeit the game because of one male athlete that was on a women's team. You cannot come out and say that there's no problem with it when there's all kinds of issues. Almost 900 medals that were taken away from women to date because men want to compete with women. And this is just my personal opinion, it's a lot of these guys who are competing with women because they can't compete against men. So they go to women. And you can harp on me all you want about the fact that, oh, you're sexist. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just a realist, and I understand that there are a lot of things, men are faster, stronger, more bone density, all these things. It's science. You want to say trust the science, but you don't trust this science. You can't pick and choose. You can't. And I say 100. I'll say it 100 times more. I've said it 100 times already. Yes, there are a lot of strong women. Yes, there are a lot of women that can do pretty much anything a man can do. There's a lot of stuff that women can do that men can't do. It's just, I mean, it's just sex. It's what we can do versus them. It's what they can do versus us. Doesn't make me sexist. I just realize the limitations, and I think it's dangerous for men to be competing against women. Proven by all kinds of stuff. I mean, just look into it. It's not hard. Anyway, let's see. Make sure I got the right one here. Let's see. But yeah, this is the one. Okay, so check. This is, like I said, this is the volleyball player, and kudos to her. I'm glad she's doing well, and I hope she has a very long and healthy life. I do. But
3 years ago, Peyton McNabb
McNabb.
was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side, and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding.
Good. This is the way it should be. They should not be competing against women. And I feel bad for the women that have to do it. There's been a lot of talks lately about there's women that are refusing to compete against men, and I applaud them. These women have, I mean, in a lot of the cases, look, I played high school sports. I know how difficult it can be, and for these girls who are trying to get into college and everything else on a athletic scholarship, they work their tails off. They deserve, and the ones that deserve to be there should be there. But to have that taken away from them because a biological male who can't compete with men wants to go and say he's a woman and then ends up getting onto a female team, no. I'm not okay with it. It's dangerous for the women, and it shouldn't be happening. And I'm 100% behind the president on this. 100%. Because if you want to protect women, this is one of the ways that you do it. Okay, so after this, he talks about the energy crisis and that he's drill baby drill is his thing. He also talks about the pipeline. He's starting a pipeline in Alaska that's going to have. I know he said Japan has got like $150 billion. Don't quote me on the number, but Japan's got like $150 billion investment within this pipeline, and another country too that I forget. But you can, like I said, I recommend everybody watch the entire speech so that they can understand exactly what he's talking about. I've condensed it just because I got to get to work. I'm running a little long here still, but anyway, talks about Doge, and all the great work that I think they're doing great work because they're exposing a lot of fraud. Okay, and he talks about Elon. Elon didn't need to do this. He was making plenty of money. He didn't need to come into the political sphere. He didn't. He could have stayed where he was. And the fact that President Trump took away the EV mandates that President Biden had put in, that hurts Elon Musk. That hurts his business. He didn't, like I said, he did not need to be in the political sphere. He didn't. He was doing just fine without being a public figure within the government. Anyway, but he chose to do that. And I'm here for it. I support what Elon's doing. I support his his Doge findings. I support what he's doing in weeding out the corruption and the wasteful spending. I'm here for it. And the Democrats who keep coming out and saying that, he's got 20-year-olds working for him. They shouldn't be doing this and blah, blah. You know what? You want to keep losing the young vote, Democrats? Then keep putting down young people. Keep telling them that 20-year-olds can't do jobs. Keep it up. Everything the Democrats do, they have nothing. They have nothing. So they're just throwing anything and everything they can at this administration, whether it be the whole Nazi thing, dictatorship, everything. They have nothing, and they're using the same talking points over and over again. But anyway, he talks about the Doge findings that Elon and his team has found, and he goes through them here. We'll take a look at this real quick too.
Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma.
For what?
$40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is.
No. He has a point.
$8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of.
Again, why?
$60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million.
Why?
$8 million for making mice transgender.
That's a new one on me.
This is real.
Unbelievable.
$32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her?
That's a big one. Okay, because Stacey Abrams, rather. Don't want to get your name wrong. I apologize. Not really, but anyway, she's been running for office in that state for I don't know how many. She was on Star Trek, for crying out loud. She's one of them ones that wants her 15 seconds of fame. She still hasn't conceded the race in Georgia, but that's besides the point. And now we find out that she's part of, she's got some other corruption stuff going on. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Anyway,
A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City.
Yep, we know about that one.
He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know what we're doing. We should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education, the most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them.
The DOE is one of the highest paid government entities that we have, and it hasn't proven fruitful, and it needs to go away. And to her credit, Linda McMahon has come out and said that we will be doing away with this. I've said it for a very long time that the DOE needs to go away. We dumped over $2 trillion into it since it came into being, and it hasn't bore fruit. We have nothing to show for it. Test scores are lower than what they have been when it started, and it's a program that can go away. $2 trillion we've spent on it since it came into being. It can go away. It hasn't done anything. The Democrats can scream at the top of their lungs, but everything they say about it is just throw more money at it. Throw more money at it. More money will solve the problem. Well, it obviously hasn't, because it's been around for a very long time, and it can go away because we're just spending way too much money on it. Give it back to the states. Let them run it. Do school choice. Incentivize the schools to do better themselves. This is a failed experiment. We can try something else. And the fact that the Democrats don't applaud all the wasteful spending when they talk about tax cuts and, the wealthy need to pay their fair share and all their talking points about saving the American taxpayer money, they should be applauding this, but they don't, because they don't want all this to be exposed. That's it. Anyway, excuse me. He goes on and talks about Social Security ages. We've showed you that list where there was super old people that are supposedly still getting checks. 160-year-old people that are still getting Social Security checks, which is insane. One person that's over the age of 350 years old. Don't know if they're getting a check, but why is somebody who's older than the country within the Social Security database? Why are they in there? Update your stuff. It's no wonder we have so much wasteful spending. Anyway, talked about the Panama Canal, about the fact that we were the ones that built it. A lot of American lives were lost building it, and we pretty much just handed it over to Panama with the intent of still using it, having it like a free pass through for trade and everything else. Now China's supposedly taking it over, and that's not what we handed it over for. So I'm okay with that too. They need to get right. Anyway, so he goes on and talks about Ukraine for just a quick moment here, but we'll get into this as well. And again, you can let me know. You can comment me. I'll try my best to comment back. Let me know how you feel about all this. I'll let you know how I feel. And we'll talk about it. I'm all for interactions. But here's him talking about Ukraine. We'll get into this.
Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah.
He's talking to the Democrats here, asking them if they want this war to keep going on for another 5 years, because their talking points are, yes, keep funding Ukraine, keep the war going, where President Trump wants peace and the war to end, because too many people have died in this war. And I'm not for sending American citizens to fight this war. I'm not for it. The war needs to end. And you can talk about, oh, how Trump's a Putin puppet and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I don't agree with it. And I've got my reasons for that. For one, him being, they're saying, oh, he's cozying up to Putin. Well, he's already come out and said, look, if I bash this guy in public, how do you expect me to get a deal done with him? It's a very valid point. And then they're going to say, well, he's not cozying up to Zelensky. Okay. Zelensky's not playing ball either. So, they had that little tiff in the White House, in the Oval Office, and then he went running to the UK asking for them for money because we wouldn't give him any. Every time he's come to this country during the Biden admin, he's walked away with billions more dollars. Every single time. And we all remember when he campaigned for the Democrats in October in Pennsylvania, because he didn't want his cash cow to run out. He wanted Democrats to stay in power because they would have kept funding this war. They would have kept lining his pockets with money. That's how I think. That's what I feel about it. But you can let me know how you feel, and we can debate. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren wants this war to keep going. She does. And why? Ask yourself why. Why does she want the war to keep going? Why do any of the Democrats want the war to keep
2,000
going?
people are being killed every single week. More than that. They're Russian young people. They're Ukrainian young people. They're not Americans, but I want it to stop. Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine, by far. Think of that.
That's a valid
They've
point.
spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And
It's a valid point, and Canada's guilty of it as well. Canada's been buying oil from Russia, all while saying that they support Ukraine. It's a valid point to make.
spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we
Huge
have
difference.
a notion.
Now, $100 billion is not a small chunk of change. It's a lot of money. But when you compare it to the $350 billion that we've dedicated to them, kind of seems like a big lower number,
Separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and lots of good things are happening. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent, by billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't have stopped it and said at some point, come on, let's equalize. You got to be equal to us. But that didn't happen. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yes, it would. It would be beautiful. Look, and this was not long after Zelensky had gone to the UK begging them for money because he didn't get any from us, because President Trump said no more. That's done. We're not going to be funding you anymore. We need peace. The minerals deal is a good deal. It gives you the security that you want, Zelensky. It gives America an interest within the region And Putin has come out saying that, look, we've got rare minerals too. We can sign a deal. It helps both sides, and I think it's a good starting point for long lasting peace in the region. Now, in honest questions to anybody who wants to respond to it, why do you want to keep funding the war when we can have peace? Why? You can argue all you want about the negotiation tactics and how President Trump's going about it. That's fine. But why do you want to just keep throwing money at the problem? This is the left's answer to everything. Just keep throwing money at it. Why? Why do you want to keep funding the war? Why wouldn't you take steps to just end it? 3 years. Thousands of lives lost. How much is enough? How much money is too much? I've posed this question before. How much money is enough? We've already dedicated $350 billion to Ukraine. How much is enough? 500 billion, a trillion. How much is enough? Boots on the ground? Is that what you want? You want American lives over there? You want UK boots on the ground? I don't want anybody dying. I don't want Ukrainians dying. I don't want Russians dying. I don't want Americans going over and dying. I don't want people in the UK going over there to die. I don't. I want the war to end. So why not do what you can to end the problem? That's it. It's simple. I mean, he's doing what he thinks is right, and I'm behind him as far as trying to get this taken care of. Anyway, his closing arguments, we'll take a look at this, or not his closing arguments. I'm thinking like a lawyer. Anyway, his closing statement rather. It was a good speech. Again, I'm telling everybody, I know I've kind of rambled on about a few things in here. I don't articulate it the best way possible, but I hope I get my side of it out the best I can. But anyway, take a look at his closing statement, and I liked what I heard. A lot of people didn't, but here you go.
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
All right. Well, see, I mean, there you go. So, like I said, I thought it was a pretty good speech. You can disagree with me, a lot of people do, but I thought it was pretty good. I mean, he pointed out some stuff. I encourage everybody to go watch it. If you didn't watch it last night, just go watch it in its entirety. And you can form your own judgments. I mean, I think that the Democrats were, I think they're just spiteful. They don't like the guy. It doesn't matter what he says. He came out and said, "Look, I could cure the biggest. There would be a plague that was just running rampant through the world. I could come up with a cure, and the Democrats still wouldn't like me." And it's true. Everything he does. I mean, he could come out and say, Zelensky's the best leader in the world. I still think that they would change their tune like that. They'd say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe he said that." That's just how I feel. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't. Anything that this guy does, they don't like because they just don't. They hate the guy. There's no other reason because they should have stood up and applaud for a lot of stuff that he's talked about during his speech. But again, the only thing they applauded was Ukraine. That's it. If they're so for women's rights, why didn't they stand up and applaud when he was talking about keeping men out of women's sports to protect women? They didn't applaud that. Why not? One of the they kept talking about when he was campaigning, they kept talking about, oh well, he'd rather run on a problem than solve the problem. Talking about the border, why didn't they applaud him on the border and all that he's done for the border? The lowest border crossings in recorded history is way down. Now I don't know if if that's an accurate statement that he made. It looks pretty low. It's dropped significantly. And why didn't they applaud him for that? If they want a secure border, they couldn't applaud for that. I mean, anyway, they just can't give him any credit for anything. They can't, because they just hate him. Doesn't matter what he does, it doesn't matter what he says. They're always going to draft a narrative against this guy. And that's it. Anyway, that's all I got for now. I got to get my butt to work. Anyway, appreciate you hanging out. I really do. And I know I ramble a lot, but I really do appreciate you hanging out. If you like what you saw, you can subscribe to me on YouTube, but I recommend you follow me on Rumble. Rumble's the spot to be. Get yourself a Rumble Premium, and you can get ad-free. Rumble's the spot, man. I'm telling you. And I think it's going to overtake YouTube. Not right away, but it's going to come. Maybe in a year or two, but I think Rumble's going to be the spot to be. But anyway, you can also follow me on X at ThePoliticalRay. Again, appreciate you hanging out through my ramblings, and y'all have a good day, and God bless.